And is that the start of the stream?
Yeah, we're just starting now.
Ah, yes.
Okay, welcome to ANZCRL Combined Racing League's GT3 Pro Championship. We are over here at Fuji GP circuit in beautiful sunny Japan, and I'm your host Woody Lizard, and along for the ride tonight is GT3 Gaming. Welcome, Gear.
Hello everybody, it's been too long since I've been in the commentary box, and while it may be grand final night, which is why we are running the race a bit earlier than we normally would, it's certainly a long way to go for these drivers in the ANZCRL Combined GT Pro lobby, as this is round 4 of 6 of the championship, and it is certainly hotting up and there's plenty more racing to go. As Woody said, we are in not Fuji Speedway, that would be a bit weird. No, Fuji Speedway for this round, which is one of my personal favorite tracks, and it certainly has its challenges. And obviously in the open lobby, if you happen to be watching that last night, which if you weren't, what were you doing? It certainly generated some interesting racing. We have a relatively small but certainly high quality field of drivers this afternoon, and they will certainly provide some very entertaining racing for you all today. We're currently in qualifying, and a lot of the drivers are yet to set their first lap, but that gives us time to go through a few of our competitors. So, Woody, would you be okay if we got started with that, and if I could run through a few of the drivers? That would be pretty cool.
Definitely. Well, why don't we go through the as they stand? So if we find Dado Racer in the Lamborghini Hurricane, the 111 Dime Racing, he's currently leading the championship over Sato by 5 points. But have you got any more information on this man here on screen?
Yeah, so Dado Racer, how do we put this politically? The elder statesman of the series, but he's certainly showing no signs of slowing down in that Lamborghini, and he's actually got that car really well dialed in this season, perhaps more so than Darky, but no disrespect to Darky, he's doing very, very well in that car. Dado, if I remember correctly, has won 2 of the 3 rounds so far, and he's just putting on an excellent performance this championship. But he's certainly, he's not got it secure yet, because as we said, Sato is just behind him in the number 2, was it the
FF course?
FF Corsa, number 2. He is only 5 points adrift of Dado, and as we were saying before the broadcast started, he has certainly got that car dialed in, setting the fastest time in practice with an astonishing, I think it was was it 138 or was it a very low 139?
No, I think it was a 38 gear, but as he's coming in the pits, he's coming charging in. It is aggressive, obviously testing on for the mandatory pit stop later for race 2, but as he's in the pits. But the next man third in the championship, which is 12 points behind Sato, 15, is Dark Racing 40. In the second Lamborghini Hurricane, the team Barwell Motorsports.
That's right, car number 78. He would normally be an Audi runner, and the Lamborghini is very, very closely related to the Audi R8 LMS. But he said he's had some troubles, just getting to grips with the car because it just has some weird handling characteristics, which is probably why he's almost put it in the wall just then. But for all the troubles he supposedly had this season, because apparently he's had a few first lap dramas, he is doing rather well, having picked up a number of podiums so far and sitting quite comfortably in 3rd place. And I wouldn't 100% discount him from winning the championship, because you never know what could happen, and he's only 17 points adrift, which it's not that much. So if he can put in some good results here in Fuji, and of course for the rest of the season, he could be in with a shout of winning the championship. Currently, 1st place in this qualifying session with a very, very strong 138.9, 6 tenths faster than the championship leader, Dado. So if Darky can survive the first lap here, which the first lap has proven to be carnage if the open lobby is anything to go by, he could be on for a good result here. Watch this space.
Yeah, definitely, but obviously for his advantage, Dark Racing 40, the grid is only at 7 in this pro division. The numbers have slowly dropped off. But, definitely the reason why he gets some good round results in the end is he seems to muck up race 1, which is obviously half points compared to the feature race. And he seems to be doing well, and he regathers himself in the feature race and gets those podium results, which pushes him up for the round overall points. So, you know, as you said, he's definitely on to still challenge for this championship, and this is really the do or die round here in Fuji. But the next guy is the only Audi R8 LMS of Nürburgring 79 in that Belgian Audi Club Team WRT car.
That's it. Let's have a look at Nürburgring's results this season. I must admit, I haven't looked at too many of his results. So he had a relatively strong 5th place in the first sprint race at Bathurst, following that up with another 5th place, putting him actually 4th in the first round standings. In the races that came after that, it seems that he
got
had
a 4th.
Yeah.
Got a 4th at Alton Park at the end of the feature race there. So and started from 6th, so he did a good job in that actual race. But yeah, he's sort of that mid-pack at the moment, and then obviously Le Mans race he finished 4th in the sprint, but then languished, dropped from. He actually qualified 2nd for the feature race, but dropped down to 5th, so it was a bit costly the previous round at Le Mans. So hopefully he'll pick it up here in Fuji for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's still been. Oh my goodness me, Nürburgring off the road in a big way. I just glanced up while looking at his
back
results.
into the pits. So we've got the next man, obviously, is Weary Knight. Not in tonight for the Sim Sports Acura of the Black Thumb, but he's got his team leading, Matty Seeking 27, jumping from the Open Division, just to be a reserve driver tonight, as he's just coming out of the pits now in that Acura. Trying to get some valuable points for Weary Knight for his championship. Currently 5th, and you know, only 3rd. I think it's 8 points behind Nürburgring for 4th. So yeah, definitely there to try and chase to the end part of the season for Weary Knight.
Yeah. So Matty Seeking
Seeney's not.
Oh, sorry about that. Woody, please continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, Matty Seeney's just a reserve driver. I was going to go straight on to a logical, which is another guy of the P51 Sim Sports in the always evolving Nissan GTR. The car that actually took the Le Mans victory, was that right? I think, not Le Mans, the Spa 24 Hours. I think he ended up getting victory in that.
I disconnected from that race and can't. Oh no, was this year? I don't know. Was a Spa run?
Yeah,
already?
this year.
I'm
we had the Spa. I'm pretty
sure
that he took victory after one of the guys took the lead with about 2 laps to go, and hit the wall of death, and the logical came on through to take victory, but he's pretty dominant there.
Yeah.
It just found it a little bit difficult during these sprint races though, to get a grip of this Nissan, but 4th currently here, Gear. So, you know, big round for him as well.
Yeah, and depending on how fast the GTR is down the straight, I mean, actually I know in the open lobby, the front-engined cars with a lot of horsepower tended to do well because they just had so much straight-line speed, and just some of the mid-engine sports supercars just couldn't really keep up with them. For example, we were talking about Matty Seeking before in the Acura today. He's been driving the Cadillac in the open division, and that car was very, very strong in a straight line here, and this is probably been one of the best tracks for the Cadillac. And actually, Matty, we were talking about Matty before, but he was due to run the number 98 Kion Motorsport Z4, but as we said before, he's standing in for Weary Knight this session as the Logical Sports goes around, and that'll be 4th place for him in this session. He won't improve. So Sato 15 on the pole with a 138.2, followed by Dado Racer with a 138.8. Wow, these are very, very fast times. Darky with a 138.9. Illogical Sports with a 139.5. Dark Lord and the Ginetta. The Ginetta has actually struggled quite a lot here because it's not the fastest car in a straight line, but you never know how it will perform in the race.
But he's currently 8th in the championship, so obviously, you know, he's had a good result at Alton Park, actually his best result, and you know, we'll just see what he can do here on his last lap if he's up at all. Currently 5th, but it looks like he's got a little bit of work to try and nabble a logical in 4th.
Let's see where he crosses the line. It doesn't look like
better
it's
his
improved.
time. No, but you know, he's consistent, and he drives that Ginetta as fast as he can, and tries to pick up the pieces of all the other guys scrapping it pretty hard. As Maddie's seeking here in the number 69 Black Thumb, as you said, reserve driver for Weary Night. Wanted to be a wild card in the Z4 BMW.
Well, we might
Which actually
see
doesn't do too bad around this circuit, the Z4.
Yeah, it was actually he was wildcarding this weekend, but it wasn't very much slower than the Cadillac that he normally drives. So we might actually end up seeing the Z4 later in the afternoon, should he decide to switch to the Z4 for the second race here. But there's
just
your
look
grid.
at that lap time. He just split both Illogical and Dark Lord into 5th, so he was 7th. So he did a good time that last lap. So well done to Maddie.
That's a good effort from him.
But the Ferrari, Sato 15, the contenders are there, 1 and 2. They'll be starting beside one another for the run down the long straight into the tight hairpin of turn 1 here at Fuji Grand Prix circuit. Then on the second row, we'll have Dark Racing 40 in the second of the Lamborghinis, and then the GTR of Illogical Sports will have a lot of support here in Fuji this weekend on the outside of row 2.
Yeah.
And then we'll have Maddie Seeking and Dark Lord on the third row, and on the back, surprisingly, Nürburgring in that Audi.
Actually, I mean, it might have been a little bit unfortunate that Nürburgring wasn't able to qualify higher, but it's actually, I know in the open lobby, starting further back wasn't necessarily a bad thing, because it kind of gave you the opportunity to see what was going on in front of you and potentially avoid some carnage, because you know, some of the cars further up the field, they just ended up being taken out essentially by cars that were starting further back than them. So that might not be the worst thing, and it's still a 20-minute race, so he has plenty of time to recover that. So
definitely.
Who's your prediction for this? I'd say Sato would probably be your safest bet as we just start the formation lap.
Oh, look, I'm gonna turn the tables here and put Dark Racing 40 for the win. I think that this is his turn. That if he doesn't do well here at Fuji, he can pretty much kiss his championship goodbye. So I think you're going to see some over-aggressive driving by Darky to try and ruffle the feathers of these cars in front.
I mean, obviously, Darky is no stranger to operating under, let's say, unfavorable conditions and kind of making a resurgence in some respects. I mean, obviously, we'd have to think back. One standout performance I can immediately think of was the 2020 Daytona 24 Hours when, well, let's say I had some mishaps and he was able to recover that. So perhaps he can put on a show for us today and finish well, but obviously he'll have to get through Sato in this extremely fast FF Corsa Ferrari.
It's been the goods here so far, what we've seen, Gear. So your bets are on Sato in the Ferrari, which is pretty hard to bet against, I would say, with the form of Sato so far. Quickest in practice, quickest in qualifying, and obviously got the lead of this formation lap and control this race for the start. 20 minutes, timed race, no pit stops, and then after this race we'll have race 2, which will be the feature 45-minute time to race with a mandatory pit stop.
That's it.
20 minutes for some quick aggressive driving by these guys to try and get some valuable points. They combine the points for eventual round winner between the two races. So the points that they score each race does not automatically go straight to a championship. It gets calculated to get an overall round winner. As they're about to line up here, looks like Sato's taking the inside on the right.
I mean,
which is going to give an opportunity, I'd say, for Dado to maybe hang it around the outside and get a nice little run down into the turn 2 and have the inside run in there.
Well, it's certainly all to play for here at Fuji Speedway. The lights come on for Sato as we wait for the lights that will actually start this race. Sato starting from the inside with Dado around the outside. Let's see how this plays out for the start here at Fuji Speedway. The lights come on and the green flag is out at Fuji Speedway, and it looks like Sado has gotten the jump on Dado Racer as Darky has slipped immediately back to 4th as Illogical goes through in the GTR. But so far, so good for everybody. And Sado looks like he's gotten away cleanly. And it appears they've actually gotten through the first corner without incident as Maddie Seeking is immediately under pressure from Dark Lord behind.
Dark Lord. Oh, what a shot this is as the camera shakes as they turn into turn 3.
Oh, here we go. Maddie Seeking with a bold move around the outside of Dark Racing 40. Can he make it work? That's very early on for that move, but it looks like Darky's been able to hold the position as Dado has run a bit wide, as Illogical goes through, and Darky's through as well. Meanwhile, Sado is absolutely waltzing away from the rest of this field as the action heats up from about 2nd place downwards.
Oh, this is where the race is at the moment.
Oh, and here comes Nürburger. Oh, and he's
big dive down the inside. That's an aggressive move, and he's tried to...
Oh, there's contact between Dark Lord.
I think Nürburger was trying to give that place back, but I tell you what, he seemed to have did that dive bomb fairly well. He only side glanced the cars. It didn't look like he was using cars to lean on for braking, so he's been a very gentleman driver by letting the rest of the field come on through. And he's going to have to try and do it all again. But look at this man here, Illogical Sports for the leading of the P51 Sim Sports Cruise in 2nd. From 4th on the grid.
This is played very well into Sado's hands as he's already pulled out a 2.3 second gap to the cars behind. So he was just able to take advantage of the action happening behind him. But it looks like Dark Racing, is he close enough to make a move on Illogical Sports? He has a quick look to the inside, but he's not going to try anything on the... Oh, yes, he will! Illogical runs a bit wide. Darky is looking to be capitalizing on that, but he'll have to hold station for the time being. And so far, it has been a relatively clean start to the race, other than the action that happened between the... Oh, and Illogical Sport had a moment there. He's managed to keep it out of the walls, though, and that was...
yeah. I think that he might have had a big issue of understeer there. Sometimes as cars, if you don't get that set up or get that turn in, you can get out on those marbles and just have to give it up to try and get around that corner, which looks like that happened to Illogical and Dark Racing, and then Dado has benefited to come on through for 2nd and 3rd.
But it looks like Illogical's actually gotten lucky there as well, because if you run out wide in turn 3, oh, and here we go.
Darky's gone deep.
Darky has gone deep, and Dado Racer has gotten through again, and he's actually checked up Illogical Sport behind him. But anyway, and this actually brings Maddie Seeking right into the fray behind Illogical. And it's certainly heating up around what technically is the midfield, but I'd say it's still very, very far up the field. Although, anyway, as I was saying, Illogical... Oh, here he goes. He goes for a move on Darky. Oh,
so
Darky's
strong
around.
through there.
That was very aggressive. He might have to give that back.
Oh, I don't know. It could be a bit of tit or tat that's been happening throughout the season between those two as well. So you never know. It could be just a little bit of a square up. But Illogical had his nose up in there, and Darky had made a little bit mistake. Or I don't think it was a mistake. I think it's Darky's normal line. And he comes in for a late apex out of that final corner. But Illogical's nose was in there.
Oh, here comes Maddie Seeking. He's going to try for a move, but he's being hung out to dry. Gets up on the curb, but manages to keep hold of the car. It's good for Darky that he hasn't actually lost too much time from that little incident. He's managed to recover relatively well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Illogical's up on the curbs
what's
again.
happened here? So Illogical doesn't like this turn 3, the long right-hand sweeper at all. The car's not very healthy through there.
But he's still hanging on to it. Can Darky stick it up the inside? No, he can't. It looks like Illogical might just hold it around the outside. And Maddie Seeking seems to be... Oh, look at this! They're so close! Darky pushed off the road! Where is he?
That all started back with Maddie Seeking actually getting a little bit messed up there and coming into the end of into the side of Illogical. So that was unfortunate there, but great racing. But look at Darky, he's now hounding the back of Maddie Seeking.
He lives to fight another day.
Red mist. Yeah, there'll be red mist behind in that 78 visor at the moment. He wouldn't be aware of what happened there. It was 3 wide. In his vision, it was probably only him and Illogical.
A lot of these drivers have had very lucky escapes at the start of this race, so Illogical survived the turn 3 curbs twice already, and those curves have a reputation for just pitching the car left and straight into the wall. And Darky survived 2 quite significant incidents so far, but as we head on to lap 5, a Logical Sport is going to be under pressure from Matty Seeking, and it looks like Darky wants in on the action as well. Darky puts himself to the outside of Matty Seeking, but it doesn't look like there'll be a pass this time by, as a Logical Sport is managing to keep the 2 mid-engine cars behind him, and Matty Seeking and Dart Racing 40.
Well, let's see if a Logical can hold this through this corner, this next left-hand corner where he's been struggling. Let's see if Matty can hang it around the outside.
It should also be noted, Dark Lord has brought himself into this battle as well and is hounding Darky from behind as well. But Darky's going to try the move on the outside. Oh, his car gets a little bit loose there. He manages to hang on to it. But now he has the outside for, I believe this is 300R. And it looks like he might actually be able to do it. This is very, very close. This could be an aeroplane crash. Can Darky stick it around the outside? But it looks like Matty Seeking is going to hold it.
He's gone in deep, Matty.
Oh, he's gone deep. Matty's on the grass, and there was so nearly contact there. There might have actually been a little bit of contact, but they've managed to hold it together. Dark Lord tries to get on the action on the action as well in the Ginetta. Oh, Dark Lord. Oh, that was very, very close.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. It's where a car can over-rotate through that corner, but Dark Lord has done very well to keep that Ginetta on track, but still pressuring Darky. So if Darky slips up, you could find Darky back into 6th position, and that's not one spot that Darky would like to be here at this race. As we said earlier, this is his championship moment here that he needs to try and get back into 3rd spot if he can. I don't think he can chase Dado.
Looks like he has a good run on Matty
13 minutes remaining.
Looks like he's got a good run on Matty Seeking. Could we see a move here in a turn 1? That Lamborghini is gaining on the Acura in front. Can he pull to the inside? Is he close enough? It looks like he'll hold station.
No.
But and a Logical's gone squarely, and he's almost run off the road. But he's managed to hold on to it. See, that first corner, it looks very, very straightforward. But if you get your braking wrong, it could be very, very costly, as I found out the hard way last night.
Yeah, a lot of brake pressure and a lot of effort to pull up these cars down the main straight here at Fuji Speedway into the tight hairpin for turn 1.
Oh, Darky's gone.
But look, here goes Darky.
Can he hold it around the outside? Oh, that was so close. It could have been very, very bad there for Darky, but he's managed just to scrape past Matty Seeking's nose, and he's got himself up the 4th.
Aggressive move by Darky, chopping Matty's nose off, but it had to take 2 drivers to make that work, and Matty must have just got off the throttle a little bit. His awareness, avoiding any sort of incident there after Darky had made that move nice and early. And here we go. Can we see Matty try and hold on to the back of Dark Racing? I think now that he's trying to get out of all this battle between these minor positions, I think that he'll try and make nice, easy work on a Logical Sports, knowing that a Logical's having a few difficulties in this GTR. I think Darky will be settled for 3rd. I think here, would you agree? Well,
the problem that Darky has now is that he needs to finish higher up to put himself in a better position in the championship, which is very crucial here at Fuji, as we said. But he can't keep getting held up in these battles, which he pretty much has done the entire race. I mean, if this was the Enduro, I probably would have pit if I was him, but this, of course, isn't the Enduro, and you can't really afford to take a pit stop. So I think Darky's just going to have to make the best of not an ideal situation, and currently what he needs to do is get past the GTR in front of him. But I reckon he will be able to do it. I think that Lamborghini certainly is faster currently than the GTR. And if he can find a way through...
visiting the lane, obviously he's picked up some damage somewhere, had a moment, so he's in pit lane.
Looks that way.
Looks like the front end of that car has got a few broken headlights.
Yeah, it's so the thing is with certain corners around this track, if you make a mistake there, it can be quite costly, especially at turn 3, as the Logical goes a little bit deep, but he manages to hold on to the position. But that still leaves him vulnerable to Darky. If Darky can set him up in these last couple of corners, he might be able to find a way through, as he is very, very close to the back bumper of that GTR. Oh, can Darky switch through to the inside? Not quite. That GTR is making itself very, very wide. I don't think Darky will be able to get through in this last corner, but if he can get the car set up for a good run down the straight, he might be able to send one up the inside into the aptly named first corner. If he can get the slipstream on the GTR. Here we go. Illogical Sport is weaving to try and break the slipstream. He's actually very up close to the wall right now. It doesn't look like Darky's going to try and stay in the slipstream and maybe just try and
That's
make it work.
a weird line down the straight from Illogical there, but obviously, as you said, trying to avoid any slipstream for Darky. But Darky's, I think he knows that he's a lot quicker through the chicane area in the later half in Sector 3, and his car seems to really get through those corners fairly well. So I could imagine that you might see Darky trying to have a dive up the inside of one of these chicanes in Sector 3.
The trouble with the chicane, though, is that it's actually one of the tightest points on the track. So an overtake is possible there. I've managed to do it before, but it's certainly not the easiest move to make. It has to be full commitment, and it's got to be full respect from two drivers. As you said before, Woody, it takes two to tango in this case. And if Darky wants to get through in Illogical might have to give him a bit of room there, but that GTR is wide enough that he can just effectively defend for as long as he pleases. But let's see how Darky sets himself up. He's very close. Can he find room on the inside? Not quite.
Look at the rear of Darky's car. It's moving around a lot. It wants to rotate, and he's holding it up because that Nissan's just in his way for his turn in. But I just don't think the Lambo's got the legs down the straight here.
Or does it? Because he's... Oh, is Illogical... I thought that was a bit weird.
Illogical's doing his line down the...
a bit weird.
But Darky definitely had a run on at the start there, but you think that the Nissan has now got the legs pulling up. But also, we know that the Nissan has been struggling. He's been struggling to pull it up here.
And there he goes.
He's squirming around.
Can Darky get a better run out? It looks like he might just. But obviously, I believe this is Coca-Cola corner coming up next. Yes, it is. That's certainly not really an overtaking opportunity. But if Darky can set the car up through 100R, he can send one down the inside at the hairpin at turn 6. Can he do it maybe this lap? He might get one.
I tell you what, I think the left-hand tyres of the Illogical cars are struggling big time, because you can see he was off the throttle a lot more, and Darky was just full on, and basically had to let off a little bit to, obviously the move couldn't be made. So there's spots there for Darky to work on Illogical.
Yeah, I think Darky...
Illogical's protecting the inside line, but May called him out here.
Here he goes. Darky had a look
for the crisscross.
Oh, and here he goes. Here he is on the inside. Can he make it work? He sticks his nose in front, and that is beautiful stuff from Dark Racing 40 to put himself up into third position. But here comes Illogical. He looked like he was going to have a strike back at Darky, as Darky's not got the most ideal exit, but it looks like he'll have the position.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is where Illogical gave Darky a little tap earlier in the race, but mate, that is why these guys are in the Pro Division. That move from Dark Racing was top notch and A-grade pass. But here comes Illogical now with a faster GTR. Here he goes down out of the slipstream, and he's got the run down the inside.
Oh, so close. That could have been not quite, but there was quite a big incident down the straight last night in the Pro lobby, in the Open lobby, as Illogical goes back through on Darky, just using the straight line speed of that GTR to his advantage. Like I said,
just the muscle, outright power of this Nissan GTR.
In qualifying, as I mentioned, it seemed to be the front-engined, high-horsepower cars just so strong at Fuji Speedway, because they're just using the straight to pull it out from the mid-engine cars. But if Darky did that move once, there's no reason he can't do it again. He looks to the outside. There's not enough room to do the switchback on the inside, but let's see how he can set himself up into Sector 3. And as we said before, that move was absolutely class from Dark Racing 40. Can he...
Yeah, and Illogical will be on top of that. Will be really thinking about that, how Darky made that move stick fairly well. So he'll be protecting these few corners here now from Darky's move. But here he goes again, but Illogical.
Not this time. Although it might actually be worth to cut away because Maddie Seeking and Dark Lord are very, very close to each other right now, and they appear to
just
having
seen the
similar
background
battle.
there as they come up through the hairpin. So, as we just turned Dark Lord's rear end.
Commentator's curse, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's held on to it, but it's cost a little bit of time.
Darky's got the run here.
Darky.
He's going to get the run on the GTR. Can he find the straight line speed? He might have some side draft action going here, but he's going to have to slot behind the bumper of the GTR again. Let's see if he can send it into turn one. This will be a textbook move if he can pull it off. He looks inside. Is he better on the brakes? Darky to the inside. Can he hold on to it? He's through on Illogical for the time being. No, but Illogical does the cutback kick, but can he hold it on? Yes, he can. And Dark Racing 40. Oh, hold on, look at this. Illogical's going to try it around the outside in Coca-Cola corner.
You'll be a brave man there, Gear, to be around the outside. You said earlier about 3 laps. It's not really an overtaking corner there at Coca-Cola, and Illogical pulled out of that pass.
Let's have a look back at the field.
Now got the best part of the sectors where the Lamborghini's been fairly strong, so you'd imagine that he should be able to secure that place, that position now. But Maddie's Seeking still under pressure from Dark Lord.
Less so now.
Less so, but that seems to go, sort of flows around, ebbs and flows for those two. They sort of come back together.
And here we go. Darky might be able to pull it out from Illogical Sports behind him. Is nearly 8/10 in front according to the timing screens, but they're not always 100% accurate or representative rather. Although Darky's
gone wide on exit.
And as we said, these curbs are just deadly here, so he just has to take it slowly, but he'll hold on for the time being. It just depends on what kind of run Illogical Sports can get on Darky. He might just be out of the draft now.
Gap here to be able to defend that now. So look at Sado though. He's still doing it well out front. He's on lap 11. We should have another 2 more laps, I would say.
Yeah,
remaining.
As we said, while the timing screens might not be 100% representative, they are still representative of how far Sado currently is ahead of everybody else. Although I'll try not to commentators curse him, because if he just keeps up this pace and doesn't make any mistakes, he should have the win, so long as everything holds out accordingly. But here we go. Darky is just starting to pull away from Illogical Sport. He ensured that he was ahead of him at just the right time in the third sector. Oh, as he runs out onto the curb. That curb is deadly as well. I spun there last night by just the slightest touch, but Darky did well to hold on there in the Lamborghini.
Yeah, they're just coming up to Nürburger as well to put a lap on him probably before they see the checker. So Nürburger, being a driver, he should get out of the way this battle for third. But what an entertaining battle it has been. It's still continuing for third position tonight. I should say late this afternoon, as we've brought this race forward due to grand final of the NRL. The majority of the people in the Pro Division are interested in that. So we're 2 hours earlier than what would normally be at 7 p.m. Australian Daylight Saving Time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show some of the other drivers throughout the field because we haven't seen a lot of them today, but it's just because of this midfield battle has just been so exciting. Dark Racing 40 and Illogical Sport have put on an awesome show this afternoon. It seems that Maddie Seeking is starting to pull it out. Oh, here we go. Illogical Sport having a look, but as I was saying, Maddie Seeking is beginning to pull it out on Dark Lord as he made that little mistake in the final sector.
So this should be the last lap, I believe. I don't think Sado's going to get around for another lap, so I believe this will be the last lap.
He might do, actually. He might just scrape through for another lap, but I think it will be pretty touch and go.
Yeah, I think he's going to be getting beaten by the time because it is a long way down the starting straight before they find the finish line. But we'll wait and see if this is going to be the last lap or not. It's been a cracking pace set by Sado, but he's actually eased off a little bit the previous lap because the 2, 3 and 4 cars have all done 40s. But they've been pushing it pretty hard. So as you can see, Sado's coming up to the final corner, and he's got the run down the straight, so it's going to be hard. I think he's just going to run out. He may just get it, as you said. There's 10 seconds.
I think he might try and back it up, actually, to reduce the lap distance. I mean,
yeah, he's going to catch him there. Well done to that Ferrari FF Corsa car.
Dominant from start to finish, converted the pole into the win for Sato 15 as the Ferrari crosses the line to take the victory with Dado Racer in the Dime Racing Lamborghini. He comes across the line, lights are blazing, and here he comes, Dark Racing 40, hangs on from a Logical Sport to take third, and rounding off the podium with Maddie Seeking winning out in his battle against Dark Lord, who crosses the line in the Acura, followed by the Ginetta, and that is the checkered flag and the end of the sprint race. Sato 15 with a dominant performance, leading essentially from start to finish with an 8-second gap to Dado Racer behind him, with Dark Racing 40 rounding off the podium after a titanic battle in the midfield with Logical Sports. Maddie Seeking filling in for Weary Nights, finishing 5th place in the Black Thumb Acura. Dark Lord in the Ginetta finishes 6th after battling with Maddie Seeking over 5th place, with Nürburger, unfortunate for him, having to make a pit stop with a damaged car, rounding off the grid of 7. And it seems that my prediction has sort of come true, and the top 3 have stayed pretty much the same as it began, but obviously in Darky's case that doesn't quite tell the full story.
No, it doesn't. He had a hard race there. He was rubbing panels and getting pushed wide off the circuit, but third, come home with third. I think he'd be very happy with that. And look at the best lap time of Sato, 138.814. What a beautiful lap there was throughout that race. And the next best obviously was the man in second, Dado Racer, in the 39.4. So tremendous race. So we'll be wrapping this first race up. We'll be having a little break. We'll be back for the last part of the qualifying for race 2. And as in, we'll be back there for that feature race very shortly. So until then, have a little drink and an enjoyment. And we'll be back on your screens very shortly. Cheerio.
See ya.